Hi everybody, it's Candice and I am doing a demo for you for the Grow Local group. Today we're going to be doing container gardens, and I have kind of cheated and gotten a little bit ahead with putting soil in the buckets already. It's nice that it's kind of damp already, because when you go to plant your seeds, you don't have to worry about the soil being really dry. So all you're doing is tamping it down. If you're doing it with kids and you're trying to explain to them how hard they're pushing without making a brick, just tell them it's like when they fall down and they get an ow or they've hurt themselves and they're just checking to see if they have any injuries or, ooh, is that gonna hurt? That's how hard you wanna push it. So you have your soil, it's lightly tamped down, and in this one, this is going to be the one that is gonna have the tomato in it. Now, it's too early to have the tomatoes out. It's just too cold, you guys. If you rush it, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to do for you what you want them to do later in the season. So just hold your horses on this little guy. Keep it in the house where it's going to be nice and warm and in really good bright light. And we will show you later how to do this. But for now, I know I'm going to plan on having it in the middle of my pot. So I'm just going to use that there so I don't forget. And I have some radish seeds and I have some lettuce seeds. So that's what I'm going to grow in here. The lettuce is going to come up. It'll be ready to eat in about 3 weeks. The radishes, they'll be up and ready to scarf down to your delight in 25 to 30 days. Radishes are really good because you can eat them in the spring. You can replant them in the summer. And I'm just going to make a circle with my finger, just a little bit of a groove. And then I'm going to sprinkle the radish seeds in there. This is not rocket science, you guys. If you want to be really precise, go ahead. If your radishes happen to be a little too close to each other, gee, you're just going to have to pull one while it's still a baby and nibble on it. No harm, no foul. And you do have lots of radish seeds in here. So if you like, 2 weeks after these guys have been in the ground and they're growing up, you could actually make another circle and start your next one. So when these guys are all finished, the second batch is just about ready to come up. And here I have the lettuce seeds. Both of these usually get planted about 1/4 inch to 1 millimeter in depth. Or with the lettuce seeds, a lot of people just like to sprinkle them on the ground or on the top of the soil and then just scratch them in. I will try to be a little bit more concise. And again, if you have too many lettuce seeds sprouting up, you can thin them, which simply means you are going to cut them off. Try not to pull them out, because if you've got a bunch of plants growing down there with their roots, a lot of them are going to be tangled up. And if you yank them out, you might damage the roots on the lettuce head that you want to keep. But if you snip it off at ground level, you're fine. And once your lettuce starts to grow, you can harvest the outside leaves, or you can do the cut and come again. And with cut and come again, that means you take the one little plant, you cut it off about 1 inch above the soil level, and it should grow again. A lot of them will do that about 2 or 3 times. And then I'm just going to gently cover up my seeds, put them to bed, getting rid of any air pockets, and then I'll take my tomato inside. I can water this in gently so I don't disturb them all and have them float all over the place. And the first pot's done, and within a month you're going to be eating your own radishes and lettuce, and your tomato will just be going in. We are going to be potting up a container of veggie seedlings or transplants today. We have 2 Swiss chard, 1 lettuce, there's 4 in the pack, we get 1, and a kale. I forgot what I was planting. So I have already put the soil in this bucket, and I have lightly tamped it down just to make sure that I had enough soil in there. And when you tamp it down, if you're working with kids, just push on it lightly. You're not making a brick. If you have to show kids, tell them it's like when they're checking to see if they have a bruise, and they're just going like this. That's all you have to do, okay? Again, too, if you're teaching the kids how to do this, the plants are really tender, and a lot of them are very easy to break. So what I teach kids is when you're transplanting them, what you want to do is take your package, your little plastic pot, and just squeeze it gently. All you're trying to do is loosen the soil up from the edge of the pot. You're not trying to massage the roots. And then I tell them, make an L for love with their hand, because plants love to be protected in there. Put your hand on top of the pot, so it's when you flip it over, it's going to act like a plate, not a bowl, but a plate. Then you can gently pull the pot off, and you will be hanging onto the soil ball. You haven't broken the stem, you haven't pulled off any leaves, and you haven't crushed the roots. Easy peasy. Then you're going to dig a hole in the soil, pop your plant down so it's still at the same soil level, and tuck it in. We did break a leaf, off it comes. The next is the Swiss chard. Same thing. And Swiss chard is absolutely lovely. The Swiss chard and the kale can both get really, really large. So they are gonna, it doesn't look like much in this pot, but it is gonna really fill it up. When your kale leaves get to be about 4 to 5 inches in length, then you can start picking them off. You go with the ones from the bottom and leave the new ones. And then you can keep picking continuously, probably for the entire summer. So I have a kale. Oh, I lied to you. I have one kale. I have Swiss chard, Swiss chard, Swiss chard. And then I'm going to take one of these lettuce. Pop it out through the bottom. And I'm going to tuck this guy more to the center. Sometimes lettuce doesn't like to be in full sun. It prefers bright light and a little bit cooler. So as the Swiss chard grows up and as the kale gets larger, it's going to protect it from the hot noonday sun. So right now, might not look too impressive, but this is going to be stunning, you guys, and it's going to be so good to eat. And there, bada boom, bada bing, we're done.